Stop scrolling, you are wasting your life. That voice in your head, the one that says, I will start tomorrow, it is lying to you and you know it. What if I told you that your inability to start is not a character flaw? It is a system error. And you can hack that system to enter a state of deep, effortless focus, what psychologists call flow, in under 5 minutes. This is not about time management. This is about brain management. Today, we will break the code on procrastination and build your personal focus factory. We will meet someone trapped by delay and discover the exact 3-step framework that set her free. Our story begins with a woman named Anya. Anya was a brilliant graphic designer with a devastating secret: she could not start. Her desk was a museum of unfinished projects. Her inbox was a monument to unanswered emails. She would sit down, ready to conquer the world, and an invisible force would hold her down. She would check her phone, make another coffee. Suddenly, researching the history of paperclips seemed more urgent than the client project worth thousands. She was stuck in what I call the procrastination loop, the brutal cycle of guilt, anxiety, and avoidance that feeds on itself. She thought she was lazy, she thought she was broken. But she was wrong. She was just using the wrong operating system. Your brain has two modes, the resistance mode and the flow mode. Resistance mode is run by your limbic system, the ancient primal part of your brain that hates discomfort, uncertainty, and effort. Its job is to conserve energy. It is the voice of, "This is hard, let us retreat." Flow mode, on the other hand, is run by your prefrontal cortex, the modern executive center that loves challenge, creation, and mastery. Its job is to grow. It is the voice of, "This is interesting, let us build." Procrastination is simply resistance mode winning the battle. Your task feels so big, so ambiguous, so threatening to your ego that your primitive brain slams on the brakes. The key to flow is not willpower. It is strategy. It is tricking your primitive brain into standing down so your creative brain can take the wheel. Anya discovered this through what I call the 3C method: clarity, constraint, and commitment. This is the kill switch for procrastination. Step 1. Clarity. Ambiguity is the fuel of resistance. Your brain fears what it cannot see. Anya did not need to design a logo. That is vague and terrifying. She needed to sketch 5 rough concepts for a tech logo using only blue and gray. See the difference? The first is a mountain. The second is a set of stairs. Your brain cannot execute a vague command. Write a report will cause a system crash. Write the 3 bullet points for the introduction of the report is a command it can process. This is called task dechunking. You are not taking a big task and making it small. You are taking a blurry task and making it pixel perfect. Your first job is to define the very next microscopic physical action, not learn Spanish, but open the Duolingo app and complete one lesson. Clarity disarms anxiety. Step 2. Constraint. You have a finite amount of mental energy. The more choices you have, the more you drain that energy before you even begin. This is decision fatigue, and it is a procrastination superfuel. Anya started using what I call focus sprints. She set a timer for just 25 minutes. During that time, her world shrank to one and only one dechunked task. No email, no phone, no other tabs. The constraint of time and focus created a protective bubble. It told her primitive brain, "This is not forever, it is just for now." That made the task feel safe. Limit your options. Narrow your focus. The prison of constraint is where creative freedom is actually born. Step 3. Commitment. This is the ritual, the starting gun. Clarity and constraint set the stage, but commitment starts the play. For Anya, this was a simple, non-negotiable trigger. She would pour 1 cup of coffee, set her timer, and say out loud, "Sprint starts now." That was the signal. That was the point of no return. This ritual creates a neurological gateway. It tells your brain, we are now switching from resistance mode to flow mode. Anya applied the 3C method to a full branding kit, a task that would normally paralyze her for weeks. First, clarity. She broke it down. Not create branding kit, but 1. Find 5 inspiration images on Pinterest. 2. Sketch 3 font pairings. 3. Design the primary logo mark. Second, constraint. She committed to one 25-minute focus sprint on the first task. She closed everything else. The world disappeared. Third, commitment. She set her timer, placed her phone in another room, and said her trigger phrase. Sprint starts now. And something magical happened. Around the 8-minute mark, the resistance faded. The timer became irrelevant. She was in the zone. Ideas flowed. Her hand moved across the tablet almost on its own. She completed the first sprint and immediately launched into a second, then a third. She had hacked her way into flow. That project, the one that haunted her for a month, she completed the first major draft in a single afternoon. The 3C method did not just give her productivity, it gave her her confidence back. Now this is where most people stop. They get the theory, but theory without action is just entertainment. I want you to identify one thing you have been putting off, not the huge, life-changing project, just one nagging task. Got it? Now apply the 3C method right now in your mind. First, clarity. What is the very next physical, microscopic action? Be brutally specific. Is it open a blank document and write the title? Is it send an email to Sarah with the subject, project update? Define it. Second, constraint. Block out 25 minutes on your calendar today or right after this video for a focus sprint. This time is sacred. Third, commitment. Create your trigger. It could be putting on headphones, pouring a glass of water, or saying 3 words. This is your ritual. This is not a suggestion. This is a prescription. Do this once, and you will prove to yourself that the procrastination loop can be broken. The psychological takeaway is this: procrastination is not about laziness. It is about fear. Fear of failure, fear of success, fear of the ambiguous effort. The 3C method is a fear reduction protocol. It makes the path so clear, the container so small, and the start so ritualistic that fear has nowhere to hook in. You must stop believing you are broken and start believing you are sophisticated. You have a complex machine, and you have been reading the wrong manual. Today, you got the right one. Flow state is not a rare, mystical gift for the chosen few. It is a predictable, accessible state of consciousness that you can engineer on demand. The gateway is focus. The key is starting, and the method is now in your hands. Now go. Your first focus sprint is waiting. Switch it off. But here's the truth. One victory does not win the war. The procrastination loop is a sneaky opponent. It adapts. Anya's story does not end with that one successful afternoon. The real test came the next morning. She woke up and the familiar feeling was back. That heavy weight of all the other tasks she had. The inbox was still full. New emails had arrived. Another client was asking for revisions. The resistance was waiting for her, like a fog that had rolled in overnight. This is the moment where most people fail. They use a technique once, have a win, and then when the resistance returns, they think, see, it was a fluke, I really am lazy. They revert to their old identity. But not Anya. This time she saw the resistance for what it was, a predictable pattern, not a personal truth. She did not wait for motivation to strike. She knew motivation is a myth. It is a result of action, not a prerequisite for it. So she went straight back to the system, the 3C method. Clarity. She did not look at her entire day. She looked only at the next hour. She asked herself, what is the single most important thing I can complete in one focus sprint? She saw the revision request. Instead of the vague, do the revisions, she defined the first step. Review the client's feedback document and highlight the 3 key changes. Pixel-perfect clarity. Constraint. She opened her timer. 25 minutes. She shut down every other application on her computer. This time, she even turned off the Wi-Fi on her phone to eliminate the slightest chance of distraction. She created a fortress of focus. Commitment. She placed her hands on the keyboard, took one deep breath, and said her trigger phrase. Sprint starts now. And just like that, she was back in the machine. The resistance did not stand a chance because she did not argue with it. She just executed the ritual. This is the secret no one tells you. Flow state is not a destination you arrive at and stay in forever. It is a muscle. You do not just build it once. You flex it daily. You train for it. And some days the weight feels heavier than others, but the system always works. Let us break down the neuroscience behind why the 3C method is so devastatingly effective. It is not just pop psychology. It is a direct hack of your brain's chemistry. When you face a large, ambiguous task, your amygdala, the brain's threat detector, lights up. It interprets the ambiguity as danger. This triggers a cortisol release, the stress hormone. Cortisol screams danger, avoid. This is the biological basis of the resistance you feel. The 3C method systematically calms the amygdala. Clarity reduces ambiguity. A clear, tiny next step is not threatening. It is a puzzle piece, not a monster. This signals to the amygdala that the situation is under control, reducing cortisol. Constraint reduces cognitive load. By limiting your choices and time, you preserve prefrontal cortex resources, the part of your brain needed for deep work. You are not wasting willpower deciding what to do next. The path is already laid out. Commitment, the ritual, is the masterstroke. Rituals create a Pavlovian response. When you consistently perform the same action before focused work, you are training your brain. You are saying, this trigger, the deep breath, the phrase, the cup of coffee, means we are now entering a safe, predictable, focused state. Over time, this ritual alone begins to lower cortisol and increase focus-inducing neurotransmitters like dopamine and norepinephrine before you even start the work. You are preloading the flow state. Anya was, without realizing it, chemically rewiring her brain. Each successful focus sprint was a repetition that strengthened the neural pathways for focus and weakened the pathways for panic and avoidance. But let us get even more practical. The 3C method is the engine, but you need the right fuel. You need to design your environment for flow. Your environment is either a garden for focus or a factory for distraction. Environmental hack 1, the digital pre-mortem. Before you start a focus sprint, you must murder your distractions. This is not about closing tabs. This is about making distraction physically difficult. Put your phone in another room, not on silent, in another room. Use a website blocker on your computer. Freedom, cold turkey, it does not matter which one. Make the cost of accessing a distracting site higher than your brain is willing to pay. Close every single application and browser tab that is not essential for the one task in your sprint. Every single one. Environmental hack 2, create a focus catalyst. Your environment should have a trigger that tells your brain it is time to focus. For Anya, it was a clean desk and a specific playlist of instrumental music. This could be a specific scent from a diffuser, a certain type of lighting, a dedicated lamp you only turn on during deep work. The same playlist every time. Your brain will learn to associate that sound with flow. Anya did not just use the 3C method. She built a fortress around it. She made focus the easiest option and distraction the hardest. This is how you stack the deck in your favor. Now, let us bring it all together. Let us review the core components of the system that can upgrade your life. We started with the 3C method, your direct pipeline to flow. Clarity, the antidote to ambiguity. Define the next microscopic physical action. Open document, not write report. Constraint, the container for focus. The 25-minute focus sprint. One task, a fortress against distraction. Commitment, the ritual that bridges thought and action. The trigger phrase, the deep breath, the starting gun. Then, we built the environment to sustain it. The digital pre-mortem, actively murdering distractions before they can murder your focus. Phone in another room, tabs closed, website blockers on. The focus catalyst, the sensory trigger, music, light, scent, that tells your brain it is time to enter the zone. This is not a collection of tips. This is an integrated operating system for your mind. The 3C method is the software, and the engineered environment is the hardware. You need both to run the program effectively. The moral of Anya's story and the psychological truth you must internalize is this: willpower is a finite resource, but a system is a renewable source of power. You cannot rely on feeling motivated. You cannot rely on feeling inspired. Those are fleeting emotions, but you can always rely on a system. You can always execute a ritual. When you feel the resistance rising, you do not argue with it. You do not try to reason with the primal part of your brain. You simply initiate the sequence. Clarity, constraint, commitment. The system does the heavy lifting. Your identity is not a procrastinator. Your identity is a person who uses a reliable system to do important work. That shift in self-perception is everything. Now, this is your final call to action. This is where you move from viewer to practitioner. I am not asking you to overhaul your entire life today. I am challenging you to a 7-day focus sprint challenge. For the next 7 days, your only job is to complete just one, 25-minute focus sprint per day using the full 3C method and your environmental hacks. That is it, 25 minutes, not 3 hours, not all day. One single, protected, undistracted sprint on your most important task. At the end of 7 days, you will have proven to yourself that the procrastination loop can be broken. You will have 175 minutes of deep, high-quality work to show for it, work that would otherwise have been lost to anxiety and distraction. You will have started the process of rewiring your brain. The door is open. The method is clear. The only thing standing between you and the most productive version of yourself is a decision. Will you remain a servant to your resistance, or will you become the architect of your focus? The choice is yours. Make it. Switch it on.